So in this video, I'm going to think about what it would take to make a free and open source RTI response intervention for math that integrated with Sugar and maybe Moodle. One of the reasons I'm interested in this is because the Gardner School, where we had been piloting Sugar on a Stick, has recently implemented RTI for literacy. And I know they put out a grant to try to get RTI for math, but they didn't get their grant funded. So it's something I know schools are actively interested in, including our pilot school. So many have seen the basic video on response to intervention. So you know that the basis of the response to intervention is on a tool that allows you to assess performance very quickly. So they have this nice site here that shows you all the different tools, how long it takes, and you can do a pop-up that shows you information about each tool. So there are a number of proprietary ones on math. There's more on reading. Dibbles seems to be a very common one, but that's reading only. So when looking at math for RTI, I found this article on the RTI Action Network very useful. I think really here's the key. Math continually builds on previous knowledge for successful learning, hence early deficits have enduring and devastating effects on later learning. So this is a motivation for why it's really important to make sure that students have gotten the early math. So early math intervention can repair these deficits and prevent future deficits. It also includes some very useful links here. So curriculum-based measurement probes. Those are the little couple-minute probes that let you figure out exactly what the students know and don't know very quickly. So there's a variety of sources, including a free online tool. Free tool takes me to here, to Intervention Center, so we can see things like this Numberfly Early Math Fluency Probe Generator. And you can see here this is not particularly hard. The highest and lowest numbers, the number in each row, and here we get really a pretty simple thing. So for math, these are just not very hard to generate. Here's the missing number. There we go, a missing number probe. So we could do some testing inside Sugar like the arithmetic activity does, or using Moodle. They have a quiz module, includes a numerical question type. Either of those could be expanded or changed to make a short probe. Once we have data, we could certainly chart it. There's from this same Innovation Central gives you a link to some charts that this is the curriculum-based monitoring. That's what we're talking about, and they have very simple templates here that we could adapt to go off of a database rather than Excel. So now the fun part is once you've got the probes and you identified what the issues are for individual students, what do you do for intervention? Well, one thing I want to point out here is that for those in the programming world, that seems like the hard part. But I think for the teachers in the field, actually, they have a lot of knowledge about that already. And for them, the hard part is managing their time and their data in a nice, consistent way, the way RTI does, to be able to see if the interventions are working. Nevertheless, I think there's some really interesting things that can be done on providing resources. I haven't found a good one that matches up the math, but this freereading.net site is a site for reading that is aligned with RTI for reading. So if you remember, they have interventions. Intervention is 8 5-week periods of instruction. So they do interventions here, and they even come right down here to using decibels to place a student in intervention A. So they give you, from the decibels, exactly where to start them based on what they got in the different decibels test. So this could be a very similar thing where we arrange resources. And in this case, they have a whole bunch of free resources both on their site and separately. And we also know that there's a lot of math resources on the web. This is the Sugar Activity Portal with the math resources. We've got our fourth grade math team going. There's a lot of web-based stuff. There's the Khan Academy with all sorts of videos on every level of math. And people could add their own resources. So to summarize, what we need is probes of early numeracy measures, which are pretty straightforward, and the research data is all published and on the web, so this is definitely possible. Then we need the graphs and reporting to communicate the information to the teachers and to the school. Then we need to link it up with resources to actually provide an intervention for the student. And one other really useful thing I've seen these RTI products do is actually provide groupings for the teacher. So you might take students across all the different classes, especially in some of the larger schools, in some of the OLPC deployments. You could actually regroup the students according to what they actually still need to learn and provide more effective instruction. Thank you very much for listening. Remember that this is just some early brainstorming that I wanted to communicate with people and get other people's ideas and inputs on very early in my thinking about this, but I wanted to share it with you all. Thanks.